Hey, welcome back to Love, Sex, and Money. Hope all is well. So, today I want to talk to you about the 5 stages of grief. So, when you have a death, either a death in your family, someone you love, or the death of a relationship, whether it's a breakup or a divorce, there are 5 stages of grieving. And, the challenge is that you feel what you feel until you don't feel it anymore. You cannot rush the healing process. The body and your emotions heal. They have their own separate timeline, and they, no matter sometimes how much you want to just kind of move on and push forward, the reality is you can't force healing. So, where did the 5 stages of grief come from? Well, they came about in 19 named Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. She wrote a book called On Death and Dying, and that's where she articulated the 5 stages of grief. So, the grieving process. So, of the 5 stages that she gives you, not everybody experiences all 5, and you don't necessarily experience them in any specific order. They can be jumbled. It's a really personal thing, and some people don't even experience all of the 5. But what are the 5 stages of grief when you've had either a death in your life or the death of a relationship, a breakup, or a divorce? So, number one is denial. Denial is a coping mechanism that people embrace when this ending, it feels so shocking and is so hard to comprehend that you literally have to create emotional distance for yourself from the experience. So you go into a state of denial, internally, where you just refuse to accept it. And so it helps you to kind of slow down this process. It's because it's very it's very unsteadying, right? So you can feel like your entire world dropped out from underneath you, and so that can be very disconcerting and difficult to handle. So by embracing denial, like, I'm sure this is just a temporary setback. I'm sure it's not really over. I'm sure there's a way we can work this out. I'm sure they'd be open to talking and working this out, whatever. Denial simply helps you to slow down and to handle the shock and trauma of your kind of like your whole life changing in an instant. Um, so, denial. And that's just one of the coping mechanisms. So, what is the second of the 5 stages of grief? That would be anger. So, while denial is a coping mechanism, anger is a masking mechanism. So, what anger does is anger masks the underlying feelings that you have of, sadness, hurt, betrayal, things like that. So, by being angry, it enables you to hide what is truly going on for you. And that anger can be spewed at the person who ended it, whether it's, an ex-husband, an ex-boyfriend, whether it's the death of a job, your career, right? You may have gotten fired. That can trigger feelings of anger as well, anger towards the boss. But essentially, embracing that anger simply allows you to not have to deal with your own emotions, the true feelings that you have, like the sadness and the grief that you're experiencing from the end of that relationship or marriage. And so that anger allows you to take all of that bubbling energy inside of you and spew it out at someone else and to project it on somebody else. And usually, it can leak out onto innocent people that have, nothing to do with it whatsoever. And that's just kind of how anger works. So, what is the third stage of grieving, of the 5 stages of grieving? And that would be bargaining. Bargaining is where you start kind of bargaining with God. Like, God, if you just give me another chance with my ex-husband, or or with my husband or my wife, if you just give me another chance at this relationship, I swear I'll try to be better. I know I didn't do my best, and things like that. And so bargaining allows you to, again, this is another mechanism of not engaging and feeling the feelings that you have. Bargaining is really kind of more of an intellectual pursuit that allows you to stay disconnected from your emotional body and kind of stay in the intellectual realm of looking at this connection, marriage, whatever, but it allows you to deflect and to not have to process your feelings of sadness, depression, and hurt, betrayal, and things like that. So it's a way to deflect that. What is the fourth stage in the 5 stages of grieving? And that would be depression. That's just full on where you're just depressed. You are finally reaching the place of feeling the feelings that you're feeling, and the sadness of the loss of that marriage or the sadness of the loss of that relationship is now being fully embodied and felt by you. You're no longer in a state of disconnection or deflection or denial. You're actually fully feeling the loss of the relationship and allowing yourself to process those emotions. And then the last stage of grief is acceptance. Acceptance is when you finally come to the understanding of this. It is what it is. I may not like it, I may not agree with it, but it is what it is, and I have to accept it, and I have to move on. I can no longer be putting my life on hold and be allowing this situation to stunt my progress, to stagnate my life, and I'm willing to accept it, to accept that this is the reality that it is at this moment, and you move forward. And all of these stages, you can, and some people can be experiencing, several at a time, or they can be, in any order that they happen, or some you may just skip totally and not experience all of them. But these are the 5 kind of resonant states that you go through when you are experiencing the death of a relationship or the death of a marriage. And so sometimes by understanding these processes, if you're in that healing process from a divorce or a breakup, going to read about these things and understanding them a bit kind of can help you to understand where you're at and what may be required for you to move forward, and kind of, ultimately you want to reach that place of acceptance, because if you don't accept it, then you really may go on to move on to other situations, other relationships, and because you didn't accept the past, you haven't kind of made peace with it. You'll bring that dysfunction to the next relationship. So the goal really is to reach a place of acceptance. And if you can reach a place of kind of energetic neutrality where you are no longer, holding that negative charge, that's really what you want to, where you want to focus on becoming the destination for you, is reaching acceptance and being at peace with what is. So I hope you found value in that. Have a beautiful day. If you're unaware, I have a link in the description box for Operation Underground Railroad. I'm an abolitionist, and I'm committed to raising $1 million to rescue our children from human trafficking. If you felt compelled to donate any amount, that would be awesome. Every penny goes directly to them. And I would appreciate it, and those children would as well. They need our love and leadership to rescue them. So I hope you have a beautiful day, and I look forward to speaking with you again soon. Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.